the double M system. I built my physique without touching a steroid, without using TRT, just two things: mindset and metabolism. Optimizing these two areas of life took me from mid, bloated, and stuck to jacked, shredded, and confident, like the way you see me today, right? So in this video, I'm gonna break down how optimizing these two areas in my unique way is going to take your physique from mid to excellent. People accusing you of being on juice, etc. This is not some cookie cutter, bullshit plan where I'm gonna be like, just train hard and think positive. No. I'm gonna break down some real tactical systems that if you implement this stuff today, you're gonna notice the fat's gonna melt off your body. You're gonna get lean. You're gonna finally see the definition in your shoulders, in your abs. You're gonna spawn bicep veins. It's gonna be insane. So let me take you back a little bit, right? Before I show you how I became this guy today with the biceps and the six-pack abs. A few years ago, I hated my life, all right? I hated who I was. I was living at home with my parents. I was out of shape. I had no goals, no ambition, no aspirations, nothing. I always felt tired, always felt bloated. I had no motivation. Yet once I started going to the gym, even when I was going 5 to 6 days a week, I couldn't break past my plateau. I was just like a blob of muscle with no definition to me. In fact, I'll put a picture of myself right here of what I used to look like. I couldn't break through, and I was showing up. I even started to track my macros. I started doing all the things that the fitness influencers were saying to do, but I still couldn't break through, and I still felt like shit. I also had an autoimmune disorder. In 2020, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, where my colon was attacking itself, so I was shitting blood. I was just really banged up. That same year, I had 2 knee surgeries. All at once. This was all during COVID. So I had 2 knee surgeries. I had ulcerative colitis diagnosis. I was completely lost in my life. I had just graduated college with a bullshit degree, no concept of what I wanted to do with my life, and all I was doing was going to the gym and trying to be in shape. Yet that wasn't even working. So I hated myself. I had no confidence. But after implementing this double M system, which I started to implement around 2021, 2022, my physique changed, but not just my physique, my entire life. I could show you a picture right here of what I looked like once I implemented this system and how everything changed, because I had no confidence, but I was forced to build confidence in order for myself to move forward in life. I didn't change until my back was completely against the wall when I was switching careers to insurance, and in order for me to actually make money and get out of my shitty situation, I had to pass an exam. Mind you, I had failed an exam 2 times back to back in a row in my previous career. So I just was not a good test taker. I thought I was doomed. I remember telling my friend, maybe I'll just join the union, do some manual labor. I'm just not built, I'm not cut out for being anything in life. I really thought my life was chalked. And, he basically said, hey bro, you've never even really tried that hard with anything in life. So if you fully apply yourself, I guarantee you'll pass. And I sat on it, and after a while, I really decided, for the first time in my life, I'm actually going to commit to something. I'm actually going to lock in. And so I sat in my room for a month, locked myself in my room, and I studied. And, it paid off. I passed the exam. Shortly after passing that exam, I got a better job where I was making close to 6 figures. Then I got a new girlfriend. We moved out together. I got sub 10% body fat because I realized when I fully commit to something, I can make it happen. So as a result of fixing my mindset and changing my metabolism, I got to sub 10% body fat. And then I decided to leave that girl because I decided, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna move to Florida. So I quit my job, moved to Florida. At the time, I also had started a business, which I ended up getting rid of, which was Amazon FBA. Broke the lease at my apartment. It was just this whole shift in my life where I was I got so clear on what I wanted for myself, and I just went for it. Now I'm living in Florida in a 2-bedroom luxury apartment, living my dream life, being an online coach, helping people. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm happy every day. I'm confident every day. I feel amazing every day. I don't have an autoimmune disorder. I cured it. I'm just really loving my life and I'm high on life every day. And I'm going to show you how to do the same thing. So let's dive into the double M system. The double M system, like I said, is mindset and metabolism. So the first thing we're going to do is discuss what I changed about my mindset to get me where I am today. Because remember, once I passed that exam and I realized when I fully commit to something, I could do it, that's what really changed everything. So there was this version of me, right? There was this version of me with the gut, and I was sad, right? I had a belly, I had no real definition, I was sad. But I wanted to be this version of me, where I showed you earlier, with biceps and a six-pack, and happy. So I started thinking to myself, once I passed that exam, I want to get to 10% body fat and be this guy. How do I do it? And after doing some research and really like delving into the law of attraction, delving into learning from people who had done it before, I realized my mindset was the problem. Because the way I was thinking prior to this was, I can't get to 10% body fat. My genetics just aren't good. There's no way I can make it there. I'm just not meant for it. I can't do this. And what I started to understand is, if I want to become someone I'm not, I need to think like someone I'm not. So I started to think, I can. So I changed my mindset from I can't to I can. Even though I didn't honestly believe it deep down at my core, I just kept telling myself that over and over. But then, once I realized, okay, maybe I can make some shifts in my mindset, I knew I wanted to be 10% body fat, but I had to get more specific. Because in order for you to get somewhere you've never been, you need a clear roadmap on how to get there, right? So it's like, if I wanted to drive to Mexico, I would get a GPS, I would get a map, I'd fill up my car, I'd plan it out, right? I wouldn't just be like, hey, I'm just gonna get in my car and start driving and hopefully I get to Mexico. That's not how it works. If I want to get to Mexico, I need to know my next steps. I need to know exactly step by step what I need to do. So I would get the map, I would get the GPS. If you don't have a specific clear goal, not I want to get in shape, I want to lose body fat, no, like a genuine pinpointed goal. For example, I want to be 180 pounds. I want to be shredded. I want bicep veins. I want golf ball shoulders. I want abs. I want big legs. Like, you need to be very specific. If you don't have the specificities mapped out, you have a 0% chance of getting to your goal. So, once I realized, okay, the mindset needs to change, but what mindset do I need to develop? I need to develop the mindset of the man I'm going to become on this journey. So I had to get specific about who even is this guy, right? So, for me, this guy was 160 pounds. He had a six-pack. He had big 20-inch biceps. He had bicep veins. He had golf ball shoulders. Mind you, I didn't have any of these things when I started mapping this out. And he was 10% body fat. Now, that's Mexico. That's a real destination. Now I know I could really get a map of how to get there, right? So once I got clear about that, that's how I physically wanted to look. But in order to really fill the tank with the gasoline you need, you also need a why. I was sick of being average. I was sick of not getting results. I was sick of knowing that there's a better version of me that exists and I'm not him yet. Therefore, that fueled me. I always kept that on top of mind. I am not who I'm supposed to be yet, and that shit pissed me off, and it kept me motivated on the days I didn't want to go, the days I didn't want to show up. That's what kept me motivated. I also wanted to feel confident. I wanted to feel respected. I wanted to feel like a winner for once. I wanted to get girls. I wanted to make more money. But I knew if I wanted to make more money and if I wanted to get girls, first I had to be in shape. Who's gonna respect me in a business meeting if I'm fucking fat? Because your outer expression of your body is a direct reflection of the inside of your mind. So I got very specific about not just who I wanted to be, who I wanted to be perceived as well, not just how I wanted to look. And once I got super, super clear about how I wanted to look, how I wanted to feel, how I wanted others to see me and perceive me, then I realized, okay, I have some beliefs in my mind about why I am not that person yet and why I can't, that I need to get rid of. I need to shake down the paradigms of my mind, because each one of us operates in a mental paradigm. What a paradigm is, it's a way of thinking that we currently have that we repeatedly tell ourselves. For example, my genetics just don't work. My genetics are just shot. If you keep telling yourself that, your subconscious mind is just going to accept that information as truth. And as a result, I'm going to show you exactly what's going to happen if you keep telling yourself that. So we each have these beliefs in our mind that we develop from our parents and what we grew up around and what we've seen and what our friends do and our circles do that is deep embedded into our mind. So this is what it looks like, right? I'm going to show you this. So basically, we have a thought, right? We think. Thought comes in my mind. My genetics are shit. That thought is going to lead to an emotion. As a result of thinking I'm just not made for it because my genetics suck, that's going to make me feel like shit. It's going to make me feel discouraged. As a result of that shitty emotion, that's going to lead to an action. Meaning, because I don't think my genetics are good, that's going to make me feel bad. So when I go to the gym and take action, I'm not actually going to work out my very hardest. I'm not actually going to be as dialed with my nutrition as I should be, because I feel like shit. I feel like subconsciously I can't get to my dream state because I'm doomed genetically. So as a result of me thinking that, I feel like shit, and now my actions are subpar. My actions aren't up to par with who I want to become, and as a result of that, I get a result that I don't like. I don't like the way I look because of it. I don't like the way I feel because of it. I get a shitty result, and as a result of that shitty result, we get reinforced paradigm. I ran out of space there. But basically, the way you think leads to how you feel. How you feel dictates how you show up in the things, the inputs that you need to do to get to where you need to go. And if you're not showing up the way you need to show up because you feel like shit, you're going to get a shit result. And that shitty result is going to reinforce it. See, I knew it was my genetics. I knew it was my genetics. No. You just need to change the way you think. Because your subconscious mind, which is basically what you are, your subconscious mind. The shape you're in right now, the person you are, is due to your habits, the things you do every day. But your habits, the actions you take every day, come from the way you think. So if you want to change your result, right, what do we need to change? We need to change the way we think. We got to change the way we think. Because here's the thing. Check this out. Let's say this is, I'm going to attempt to draw a brain. Okay, that's a brain, right? Watch this. Check this out. Your conscious mind is 5% of your brain, meaning the active thoughts that you have are only 5% of your brain. Your subconscious mind is 95% of your brain. And whatever you tell yourself, the thoughts you have, your subconscious mind just accepts it as true. It simply just takes orders. The subconscious mind can't decipher what's real and what isn't. So if you tell yourself your genetics suck and that's why you're stuck, your subconscious mind is going to accept that as truth and produce a shitty result for you. But once you understand you can take full control over your mind and actively control your thoughts, then you get to change your subconscious mind, which will in tune change your habits and change who you actually become. So whereas saying, oh, my genetics just suck, you could change that to, I am worthy. I can build my physique. The reason I haven't built my physique yet is because I don't know what I'm doing. But it can be done. It will be done. When you start speaking like that, then your subconscious mind will start to find the answer for you. Because your subconscious mind is not even going to look for the answer you need if you think it's not possible. So you need to look out for limiting beliefs, right? You want to look out for limiting beliefs. Let's identify some. Here's some limiting beliefs, right? A limiting belief is basically a thought you have in your mind about a topic that you think. See, there's the thing. There is the truth and there's your truth. Neither of them matter. Hang on, 1 second. I just wanted to make sure it's still recording. Neither of them matter, right? There's the truth and there's your truth, but your subconscious mind only knows your truth. So you get to decide what the truth actually is, right? Isn't that beautiful? So just because somebody tells you 2 + 2 is 4, if you think 2 + 2 is 5, then 2 + 2 is 5. You don't have to believe anything. You get to decide. When you get a piece of information, someone tells you something, you get to reject it if you don't like it. So once you understand where you're going, you only want to entertain thoughts that align with the person that you're trying to become. But here's some limiting beliefs, things that we make up in our mind that aren't even real. An example of a limiting belief could be, I can't. Here's some, pay attention to when you say stuff like this. I can't. I won't. I'm not. Let's think of another one. I can't, I won't, I'm not. This is a very specific one, but I can't do X because of Y, right? I'm not a morning person. I'm just not the type of person who gets results. If you tell yourself that, then that's true. Where you could change this to, I am. I won't. I'm gonna tell myself that I'm gonna go to the gym, but I just know that I won't. That's just some bullshit lie you tell yourself. Change that shit to I will. You're in full control. You can control this shit. I can't. I can. I can't get jacked. My genetics sucks. I can get jacked. I just need the right inputs. I can't do X because of Y. Oh, I can't lose body fat because no one in my family's, been shredded before. That's bullshit. That's a paradigm that you've been tricked into believing, but it's not real. We were all created in God's image. We can do literally anything. So you need to start thinking like the man you want to become. And it's simple as that, okay? It's simple as that. Now, I want to be honest with you guys. I got to look at the back of my phone because sometimes I run out of storage on these videos. But you need to think like the man you want to become. So any moment, what you want to do is transfer your mind into the man that you're trying to become, right? So maybe you set an alarm for 6 a.m., right? And you're like, you know what? I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. so I can be dialed. That alarm goes off, and what happens? You want to snooze it, and you want to go back to sleep. You need to take a deep breath in that moment and stop thinking like the old you and start thinking like the new you. How does the new you think? He just gets up and he goes. So you get up and you go. See, the thing is, when people think of manifestation and attracting the new version of themselves, it's instant. The second you decide you're going to become somebody new, you become somebody new. And this is exactly what I did. When my alarm would go off, I'd always want to go back to sleep and say, you know what, the best version of me doesn't go back to sleep. When it came to my nutrition, you know what? The best version of me, he doesn't go over on his macros, not once. He always hits his protein goals. He doesn't say no, he doesn't say yes to going out just because he gets FOMO and wants to go out. No, he stays dialed in. You gotta transfer your mind into the mind of the person you want to become. You need to be an actor playing the role of the man you want to become in your life. Like any good movie, think of Batman, The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger, the Joker, right? He acted and pretended to be the Joker for months before the cameras ever came on. And that's why he was so embodied as the Joker in that role, and he won so many awards. So you need to be the actor playing the role of the man you want to become, and you're not lying to yourself, you're just becoming. You're becoming. So you need to think like the person you want to become and start acting like that person today. Now let's dive into metabolism. I was tracking my macros, I was hitting my protein goals, but I still couldn't get rid of that last layer of fat. I still felt like shit. My energy levels were really bad. My motivation wasn't bad. I was still showing up for myself, but my motivation kind of sucked. And I just didn't feel good about myself. I felt bad. That's because my metabolism and my gut health was cooked. Obviously, I had the autoimmune disorder, but what I didn't realize is I was eating protein bars. I was eating pasteurized dairy. These are my real two killers, and I wasn't getting enough micronutrients. Protein bars are worse than candy. Let me just check the screen again. Protein bars are literally worse than candy. They contain a bunch of chemicals and seed oils that disrupt and destroy your gut. Now here's the thing. When it comes to gut health, right, you need to get micronutrients in if you ever want to get the physique that I got. That's what changed everything for me. I was worried about calories and I was worried about macros more than I was worried about micros. So check this out, ready? There's calories, there's macros, which is protein, carbs, and fat, and there's micros. Now, calories is going to determine your weight. Macros are going to determine your body composition. Micros dictate your energy and performance. Okay, so calories determine your weight. If you want to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit, meaning you have to burn more calories than you eat. Everybody knows that, right? Macros, meaning protein, carbs, and fats, that's what dictates your body composition, the way your body looks. Because you can lose weight and still have a gut. You can lose weight and still look like shit. If you're not getting enough protein, the way your body actually looks isn't going to be good no matter how much weight you lose. But micronutrients dictate your energy and your performance. This is everything. This is what I wasn't prioritizing, and this is why I didn't see any change. Because if your micros aren't dialed in, your gut health is going to suffer. The reason that's important is because we understand if we want to change the way our body looks, we need to prioritize our macros. But you cannot absorb the protein you're eating if your gut is inflamed, and this was my problem. Even though I was getting a surplus amount of protein, my body was not absorbing that protein because my body was fighting off gut inflammation. When your gut is inflamed, your stress levels are higher, meaning that you can't get into deep sleep and you can't get the muscle recovery you need. You're also not able to absorb all the protein. And what happens to that protein when you don't absorb it? It gets stored as fat in your body. You need to have proper gut health and in order to feel and perform well. And when you are higher in energy and higher in motivation and your performance is better, you're getting more out of your workouts. You're getting more out of your lifts. You're easily building muscle. Easily. And the thing is, when you build lean muscle, your body turns into a fat-burning furnace. Everyone's so worried about cardio this, cardio that. You have to understand, lean muscle burns fat at a rested state. Meaning when you're sitting on your ass, your muscle is burning fat actively all the time. Fucking fire going off over here. You hear that shit? So, think of it like this. Doing cardio, doing workouts, that's like your 9 to 5 job, right? That's your income. The second you stop doing cardio and stop going to the gym, you stop burning calories, you stop getting paid. But building lean muscle, that is passive income. You are burning calories even in your sleep when you build lean muscle, but you can't do that if your micros aren't dialed in. In order for you to go from skinny fat or having muscle but not having definition, you need to prioritize protein. That's called a body recomp, right? Where you're nailing your protein so your body can convert that fat into muscle. The problem is, even if you're getting enough protein, but your micros aren't dialed in, and you're not going to be able to absorb the protein, and it's only going to get stored as fat. So, micros are vitamins, minerals, things for your gut. So, there's a couple things you can do, and I'll give you a few right now. Basically, what you want to do with your nutrition is this, right? You want to fast. 16-8. You want to have only an 8-hour window in which you eat. So if you wake up, maybe you have your first meal at 9 a.m., you're done eating by 5. Because in those 16 hours, you're going to give your gut time to repair. Your microbiome in your gut is going to repair. The cells are going to regenerate. It's going to give you better gut health. And the less your body's trying to break down food, the more the cellular energy can increase and do the things it needs to do naturally. Okay? You need to have a high metabolism if you want to get shredded. You have to. You have to. So fast 16-8, remove processed foods. Get them out of your diet. No more processed foods. Processed foods, like no fast food, no Chipotle, none of that bullshit. No more protein bars, no more protein cookies, protein snacks. That shit all has to go. Remove pasteurized dairy. Pasteurized dairy is any cheese, any milk, any yogurt that's not raw. When they pasteurize the dairy, it basically heats up and it strips off all the natural enzymes and all the probiotics off of it. So when you digest that, it sits in your gut like a rock and you're not able to digest it properly. Therefore, it's hindering your gut health, which is fucking up everything. It needs to go. You want only raw dairy, raw milk, raw cheese, raw yogurt, because that shit's not heated up and it has all the probiotics to actually help your gut, including the protein. So no more protein yogurts, none of that bullshit. Let me just check this one more time. All right, we're still rocking and rolling, baby. Okay, none of this shit. None of it. So this is what you should do. Get rid of that shit. And obviously, you know, seed oils, those gotta go too. Canola, sunflower, safflower. Those are the main ones you're gonna see. No gums, fillers. No xanthan gum, no canola oil, no sunflower oil, no safflower oil. Get rid of seed oils. These things are high in omega-6 fatty acid, which causes insane amounts of inflammation in your gut, and it's fucking up everything. You know what has a lot of seed oils? Protein yogurts. You know what has a lot of seed oils? Protein bars. Now, what you want to get in your diet is this: ground beef, eggs, fruits. That's all I want you to worry about for right now. Ground beef, eggs, and fruit. Why? Because ground beef and eggs are loaded with micronutrients. So is fruit. They're loaded with micronutrients. Ground beef has almost every mineral that your body needs to fucking thrive. It also has omega-3s, which is an anti-inflammatory ingredient. So you're literally, these things are gonna help your gut operate better, which is what you need. Also, the protein content in these are great. They also all have B vitamins. B vitamins are responsible for converting your food into energy as opposed to storing it as fat. Ground beef has creatine in it, which is going to help you with muscle growth. These things are great for cognitive function. They're great for your liver. Eggs have choline, which is great for your liver and great for your brain health. And again, we want to perform better so we can get more out of our workouts and we can get more out of everything we do. We can sleep deeper, wake up feeling more energized, just wake up feeling incredible. This is what changed my life, guys. I eat ground beef and eggs every day. Follow me on Instagram. You can see my stories every day. Ground beef, eggs, ground beef, eggs. I eat this daily because I love it. And then fruit. No vegetables. Vegetables are loaded with oxalates, phthalates. These things are going to disrupt your gut. Vegetables are useless and they sit in your gut like a rock. You need fruit. Fruit's the great source of fiber that you're going to start having. Only fruit. Fruit has antioxidants too. Great for your gut. If you eat these three things every day and cut out this shit and do everything else I said, you're going to go from zero to fucking hero. You're going to be amazed at how incredible you feel. And this is only a piece of what I help people do. This is like nothing. This is the basics. You do this shit, your whole fucking world is going to change. You're going to feel like a superhero. Your body fat is going to melt because right now your mind and your body has been working against you. But doing these two shifts are going to now have your body working for you. So make these shifts, eat these things, do what I said. And basically, this didn't just work for me. I'm gonna pop up on the screen right now how many client changes I've had. Client transformations, client wins. My clients have gone from skinny fat to shredded. All my clients are fucking jacked. Look at this. It's not just me that it works for. It works for anybody, and it's going to work for you. And obviously, this is what I help people do. If you want one-on-one help, to stay accountable to all these things, to level up your physique and your mindset, I'll show you how to do it, and I'll get your results within 30 days. Then hit the link in the description and book a call with me, or just shoot me a DM on Instagram. That's in the description too. So I'll work with you one-on-one, and I'll show you how to do all these things. Because how much longer are you going to sit there knowing that you're not seeing out your full potential? You gotta make a change, and I'm here to help you do that. But if you don't want to work with me, that's fine too. I'm not making it for that reason. Just start implementing everything I've gone over, and I promise, if you could just stay consistent, because that's the biggest part. And that's where people struggle. They need accountability. Stay consistent for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Just stack them. Your whole life's going to change. I look forward to seeing your results. Love you all. Shot me a like on this video if you liked the video. Peace.